What if I told you that everything that you're chasing, whether it's money, relationships, love, career, anything you think you're chasing that will make you better, will actually not prevent you from feelings of anxiety, stress, depression, loneliness, etc. But there's a way you can find yourself out of that madness, and that is through meditation. Hi, everyone. My name is Christopher. I'm the host of the Open Minds podcast, where I explore big topics with genuine curiosity. So if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe. Now, folks, I've been meditating for many years, more seriously since the pandemic, and only recently have I been able to find a deeper sense of inner peace and inner calmness. And it's really transformed my life. And I know many of us are starting out on that meditation journey, and you might not be seeing those immediate results. So in this video, I'm hoping that I can share with you what I've found with meditation, as well some of the most profound things I've learned through meditation that has transformed my life. The first is meditation is very much like going to the gym or like an investment. You're not going to see the immediate results after one or two sessions. You're going to see the results over sustained periods of time of consistent practice. And this is what I think all the gurus in meditation and all the Eastern religions say, which is practice is where you find that inner peace. So even when your mind is spinning, even if you, after 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes of sitting in complete silence, you still feel your mind is racing. It's not about your feeling, it's about the diligent practice that you're doing. And so this is very similar to going to the gym, right? So every time you go to the gym, there are days where you don't get a good workout in. There are days where you don't feel like working out. But it's not necessarily about looking at your whole physical health through those instances where you don't feel like you're getting a good workout. Instead, it's looking at your physical body after years of going to the gym as well as eating healthy, where you start seeing the real results. So treat meditation again as going to the gym or as an investment. If you keep doing it consistently morning and night, even if it's only for 5 minutes, there are some tangible outcomes that you'll find. So you might be asking yourself, Christopher, what are the tangible outcomes that I'll find through meditation? So again, I'm not a health expert, I'm not a medical doctor or anything, so take these opinions with a grain of salt. But one of the greatest benefits that you'll find immediately through meditation is awareness. You're going to start finding yourself more aware of your own thought patterns. Those thought patterns can be very negative, very self-defeating, but immediately you're going to start recognizing some of the negative self-talk that you're doing that actually may make a bad situation worse just through your own negative self-talk. So for example, if you're at work and you submit something for your boss and it doesn't meet the mark, you can easily go down a path of negative self-talk, making that one instance seem 100 times worse just by your own doing. Now, of course, people miss the mark at work. That's just the reality of working in a collaborative environment. And if you reframe that thinking of a learning opportunity to say, I understand I can do this better next time, that small framing actually shifts your entire perspective, and people will look to you as someone willing to learn and adapt versus someone who's beating themselves up. Now, this is coming from someone who beat themselves up all the time. I would beat myself up at school, at work, in relationships. Every time I missed the mark, I would just go down this path of negative self-talk, like, of course I'm not good enough. Of course I'm not the best. Of course I'm not. And through meditation, I recognize that the negative self-talk is making these instances 100 times worse to myself. And so that first tangible outcome is awareness of your own negative self-talk. Another tangible benefit of meditation is you will find, and this may not be immediate, but it will come with time, a level of calmness. And I say this for someone who is pretty high wired in my personal life. And so, if something fell and broke, I would get frustrated. If I woke up late, I would get frustrated. If my alarm didn't go off, or if something happened on my commute to work or commute home from work, I would get deeply frustrated. The bus is late, the streetcar is late, whatever. I would get so frustrated. I get so upset. And then through meditation and through consistency with meditation, you find that there is a calmness that comes over you to let go and relinquish the things you can't control. Can't control the bus schedule, can't control the weather, can't control all those things. And you recognize that that's not in your sphere of control. So you don't pay it much attention. And again, I think this comes through meditation and awareness building as you watch your mind internalize things and make stories up as it goes along. Now, I mentioned these tangible benefits that you see through meditation. I mentioned the calmness. I just want to emphasize the peace that comes through meditation, the inner peace. Someone on a podcast I was recently listening to said that the inner peace is always there. It's always accessible. Any time of day, even if you have 10, 15 minutes, you can get to a point where that inner peace can be easily accessible by you anytime, any moment in your days, in your weeks, in your months. And this is truly powerful. Think of it like, the investment that keeps giving you money anytime you want to access it, or, that I guess that place inside you that can exist that is truly peaceful. And I feel like I don't want to get too esoteric, but I do feel like temples and churches and places of worship try to, in many ways, mimic physically what does exist within you. And I know that sounds a bit out there, but if you stick with me, you'll understand that, again, through meditation, there is the sense of overwhelming calmness that you find. And when you go into a place of worship, a church, a synagogue, a temple, masjid, when you go to these places, especially if they're very old and very ornate, or they've withstood the test of time, you come away with a sense of a feeling of peace, calmness, serenity that's really inexplicable. And I know some of you have traveled a lot. You've seen mountains and valleys and oceans and rivers and all those things. And again, an overwhelming sense of calmness and peacefulness comes over you. That's actually, I think, in many ways, the physical representation of what actually exists within you. That peace, that sense of peace and inner calm. And again, the only reason I say this is because, again, I was that guy who was very hardwired or high strung. And it wasn't until years and years of meditation that I found this inner peace that is accessible at any time. I feel like we could probably spend our lives talking about consciousness and meditation and how beneficial it is. And it can be very challenging to unpack and understand fully. So the best analogy I can give you is when you think about the events in your life and the things that happen, it's easy to get wrapped up in those events, both good and bad. Good in the sense that you got a stroke of luck, got a bonus at work, something happened in your life. It's easy to get wrapped up in that good time, but also it's easy to get wrapped up in the bad times. So when there are bad times, it's easy to understand that all these bad things are happening because somehow you're a bad person, right? Like it's easy for our minds to go on these different swings. The best analogy I have is treat your life and its events as clouds in the sky. And you yourself, like who you are the blue sky, which is infinite, right? No one knows where the sky begins or ends. That's who you are. You are the infinite. Stick with me. I know it's a tough analogy to understand, but if you are the blue sky that's infinite, and life events are the clouds that come into the sky, right? Clouds, some days there's dark clouds, light clouds, no clouds. Some days there's thunderstorms and tornadoes and snowstorms, but you're none of those things. You're not the white clouds, you're not the dark clouds, you're not the snowstorm, you're not the rainstorm, you're not the tornado, you're not the hurricane, you're none of those things. You are the blue sky. You are the infinite. Now, this is the realization you come through meditation, where you look at your life as clouds that are just passing by. And this is a really deep realization, because once you understand your life to be this cloud analogy, then you start looking at your life through that same lens. It actually wires something deep in you to say, well, these are just clouds and I am the blue sky. Because let's face it, folks, the good times for you, they're coming 100%. you will experience good times like no other. There will be euphoria. There'll be moments of total euphoria in your life ahead, 100%. Especially for you young people, there's tons of moments of euphoria that you will experience. But also, there will be very dark times as well. There's going to be times where your finances don't work out, your relationships don't work out, your family, your friends, your expectations won't be met, and that will lead to a lot of potential stress and depression. Even you work really hard at work and you don't get the promotion, that will, chances are, will happen in your life. Health, there's all types of things that can go wrong and potentially will go wrong in your life. But if you recognize yourself to be the sky and not the dark cloud, this analogy, if you keep at it and repeating to yourself, it actually allows you to let go of trying to be your situation. Does that make sense? So if you get a stroke of good luck, it's easy to be that situation, right? Like it's easy to say, like, my life is forever benefited because of this stroke of good luck that I've had. But in reality, it's just a moment in time, right? So like it's just a moment in time. Your wife or your partner loves you unconditionally and shows their love to you. It's a moment in time. Those things, people can change, those things can change. You're at work, you get a promotion, you get a bigger bump, and then suddenly the pressure is on and that promotion doesn't look so good because it requires a lot more personal sacrifices, right? So it's a moment in time. Likewise, if you lose money, it's a moment in time. Yes, it'll take you time to rebuild all that stuff, but it is a moment in time. It is easy in that moment when you lose money to think you are a loser. But again, if you are going back to the sky analogy, if you are looking at these as just clouds and thunderstorms and clear skies, and you, the blue sky, you let go of the ups and downs of life. Now, you might be asking yourself, Christopher, why even mention this and why even discuss this on your YouTube, or why even make a YouTube video about this? And the reason why is because, this year I'm turning 40 and it's a big year. And as I look back on my 40 years of existence, we all go through ups and downs. We all beat ourselves up over the head, over the bad decisions or the good decisions. We're like, I should have stuck with that person. I should have made that investment. I should have not said that thing at the dinner table. I should have, all of those things. And through consistent meditation, I have found a very deep sense of calmness and peace as I explore some of the biggest topics that do get people riled up, that do get people's backs up against the wall. But it's allowed me to do so calmly, creatively, peacefully, etc. And I can imagine that whatever it is you're going through, family stress, money stress, career stress, there is the bank inside of you that will never go underfunded, that can achieve a level of peace and calmness in your life as well. So you might be asking how I do meditation. Everyone's going to be different. Some do guided meditation, some don't. I like to do a mix of both. Sometimes I listen to a guided meditation before I go to bed. Sometimes I sit by myself 20 to 30 minutes before I go to bed in complete silence. Now, I just want you to practice something tonight, even if it is for 30 seconds to a minute, even if it is a couple minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it is. Before you go to bed tonight, I want you just to sit, and I want you to close your eyes, and I want you just to observe your thoughts. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to, you can write it down if you want, but I want you to just observe what you're thinking. And, later on, I want you to write down what you're thinking. And I really want you to internalize what you're thinking. And the reason I want you to do this consistently morning and night, you're going to start seeing your mind at work all the time. And the more you try to make it calm, the more it gears up to work. So instead of trying to do anything with your mind, observe. Just observe. And just keep observing. And I don't want you to judge your thoughts. Just observe and write down those observations. And then what you'll find is a pattern of thought that you find yourself in. For me, it was self-negativity. It was always, Christopher, you're not good enough. You're not making enough money. Your YouTube's not blowing up. Your podcast isn't blowing up. This isn't happening. You're a failure. It was always something negative. over and over and over. And even after years of meditation, I notice sometimes there are moments of self-negativity that do come up. And so I didn't realize that this was actually sabotaging my day-to-day interactions, my ability to lead a truly fulfilling life, because I was always going to bars or clubs and seeing a nice girl and being like, oh, she's not going to go for me. I'm not good enough. I'm not on her level. I don't even know her. Literally, these are the thoughts that would go through my mind. Like when people listen to my podcast, they're like, oh, you should interview Jordan Peterson. You should interview, Sam Harris. You should be in these conversations. I'm like, oh, I'm not good enough. That's not where I'm at. I people put negative comments. Oh yeah, of course I suck. Because that anonymous person on the internet says I sucks. Yeah, that's true. Or people would say, man, how come you're not on like national television or radio shows, all this stuff, and like, I'm not good enough. This was clearly this was the pattern of my thinking for so long. And even still today, I notice sometimes, but it's through that meditation where I let go of trying to control my mind. I'm not in the business of controlling my mind. I let my mind do what it will. And I recognize that I'm at peace because my mind isn't who I am, right? My body isn't who I am. I am the eternal sky, right? So my mind will make things up and it'll continue going in patterns of thought of negativity. And that's my mind. And I'm not here to control it. I'm just here to observe it. And so through meditation, you find this deeper level of peace and self-fulfillment. I can't really put it into words, and I know a lot of people have tried and struggled as well. But the best way I can say it is there is an inner peace inside of you. There's an inner sense of calmness inside of you that is actually dying to be found and to come through in your daily life. So if I could ask any of you, start on your meditation journey, recognize it's like an investment, like the gym. It only gets better the more and more you do it. I ask you to please just sit for 5 minutes before you go to bed, and when you wake up, 5 minutes, monitor your thoughts. Just see it, just observe it. Don't judge it, just observe it. And just do this consistently over and over and over, and let me know how you're doing. So leave a comment in the comment section below, like, subscribe, share. I know this is more life advice than open mind discussions, but I hope you enjoy this because some people say I should do more of these kinds of talks about what I've experienced. So let me know if it's resonating with you. Leave a like below, definitely subscribe, and I will definitely catch you in the next one. Thanks, everyone. Take care.